Alrighty, we're going to be wiring a 220 240 volt circuit, and I'm going to show you the difference between the standard 220 240 volt circuit breaker wiring versus the GFCI 220 240 volt circuit, which involves 4 conductors, a black, a red, a white, and a ground wire. And I'll show you both the wiring for both breakers and how to do it. Here in the country I was born in, we use a 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps, 10 American wire gauge on 30 amps, 8 American wire gauge on 40 amps, 6 American wire gauge on 50 amps, and the GFIs all wire the same way. So first we will strip our outer jacket like this. We got a very nice tool bag here at Harbor Freight, so it's nice to be able to see where all your tools are, so you're not looking all over for them. So we'll just go down the middle here very carefully so we don't cut the wires underneath here. Very careful. Stay in between the wires. We'll get all our wires out of our jacket here. Okay, so now we'll shape our wires into our box. We'll start with our ground wire. This is a sub panel, so your grounds and neutrals have to be kept separate. In a main box, they can be bonded together. So we'll take our ground wire. Now we can pull our wire back a little bit now that we stripped it. It's only like 1/4 of an inch of the wire is in the box. Okay, so we'll push our ground wire down to our corner and we'll bend it over to come into our neutral or into our ground bar here. We'll clip it so it goes in properly. We'll put it under our hole there, make sure our conductor comes through the hole all the way. Now we'll take for the standard 220 240 volt breaker, we'll take our white wire, we would go back to the back of our box like this, come across, and we would come up We'd bend a piece over like this. We'll strip enough to come off. And we put our white wire over here on our neutral bar. And we'll just make sure our copper is going through the hole all the way, which it is. And we'll take our double pole breaker. You'll just always match the wire size to your breaker. You put it in the box like this. And you'll take and put your black wire down to the bottom, run it up along the side, come up, and we'll strip it. Make sure your copper is in the hole all the way and your insulation's not pinched under your terminal. Make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure it's going in nice and straight. Then we'll take our red wire, we'll push it down to our corner, run it up along the side here, we'll bend it over, and we'll go in on this terminal here. Strip with our number 12 hole. We'll make sure our wire is in the terminal all the way. Make sure it's good and tight. And that is how to wire your standard 220, 240 volt breaker into a double pole breaker into a panel. Now we'll change it to a GFI breaker. So you just pull the breaker out like this. Now the GFI breaker has 3 terminals here, a neutral, and then your live and live. So we put our double pole GFI breaker into the box like this. And we'll put our red and black where our red and black goes. Doesn't matter which one goes on the top or the bottom. So it's good and tight. Now we'll bring our white wire from our circuit and we'll put it on the GFI. So we'll have to bring it over here. We'll bring it down to our corner, bring it up, and we'll bend it over right here. And it'll go in this terminal. And now we have the white pigtail from our breaker. We will bring this one over and we'll put it over on our neutral bar. So we'll get it behind this here. And we'll put it over here. Twist our strands together, make sure they're nice and tight. Make sure it's nice and tight. We'll put our tools away and I'll show you up close So that is how to wire a 220-240 volt circuit that's GFCI protected into a panel here in the country I was born in. We use a 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps, 10 American wire gauge on 30 amps, 8 American wire gauge on 40 amps, 6 American wire gauge on 50 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a 110, 120 volt switch loop or in a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. But you should remark it with either red or black tape to let people know it's live. Peace. Thanks for watching.